Amy and Jim, they got the flow. Breaking news, they let it show. ODD squad, we in the know. Drip so hard, it steals the show. Daily trip, come take a ride. Stories flashing side to side. Cash is paid, got beats that glide. Join the squad, no need to hide. From the streets to city lights, they deliver day and night. Truths uncovered, shining bright. ODD squad's the guiding light. Daily trip, come take a ride. Stories flashing side to side. Cash is paid, got beats that glide. Join the squad, no need to hide. Tune in quick, don't miss the scene. Life's a movie, live the dream. Damon Gem, they're on your screen. ODD squad, supreme machine. Daily trip, come take a ride. Stories flashing side to side. Cash is paid, got beats that glide. Join the squad, no need to hide.
We the odd squad, breaking news on the fly. Catch a drip as it falls from the sky. Late night vibes where the truth collides. Dame's got the mic and we're changing the ties. Late solo trip, this the vibe you crave. From advice to the moves that the politics wave. Hit the like, smash the sub, stay bold, don't cave. We the odd squad, baby, this the show we pave. Turn the volume up, let the speakers ignite. Talk of the town under neon light. From the deep debates to the savage in sight. Dame holding court till the morning bites. Late solo drip, this the vibe you crave. From advice to the moves that the politics wave. Hit the like, smash the sub, stay bold, don't cave. We the odd squad, baby, this the show we pave. Roll call for the thinkers and the late night crew. From the trends to the facts, we'll deliver it true. We odd for a reason, breaking all taboo. This the anthem of the squad, you already knew. Late solo drip, this the vibe you crave. From advice to the moves that the politics wave. Hit the like, smash the sub, stay bold, don't cave. We the odd squad, baby, this the show we pave.
They start to glow. Gem and Dame with the late night flow. Hot squad moves, we're breaking the code. Tune in tight for the stories they low. Oh, late night drip, we ride the wave. News so slick, you misbehave. Join the squad, sub up, don't stray. Tables around. Every headline's got a brand new sound. West Coast breeze with the city bound vibe. Hot squad energy, come take the ride. voices rise. Odd squad, sharp with eagle eye. Late night drip, we ride the wave. You so sick, you misbehave. Join the squad, sub up, don't stray.
Raindrops fall on city pavement, washing secrets in the dark. Daily drip, the crowd's amazement. Knowledge streaming comes to spark. Thunder in the nighttime sky.
Get them ready. What up? What up? What up, everybody? Welcome to Daily Drip Show. I'm your producer, Cassius Pay. We got a special episode for y'all today. Why? We doing Father's Day freestyle with one of the fathers that I know. We had to tell him to hush up in the background over there. He had to get him through. Let him know Daddy is in town.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The man playing.
Be quiet
man.
in the back. Daddy got to go to work. Daddy got to get to work. Know what I mean?
A little loud in my background. You hear the kids you hear the sound of children running. It is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Just had a few things going on in the world, man. So I definitely wanted to talk to you all. You know, we woke up. You know, I got a few gifts. The first two gifts I opened was bam, bam, these eyes, so I could be able to see the beautiful faces of kids saying Happy Father's Day, Dad, and all that good stuff. I'm sure you all went through that too. For my real fathers out there, you know, not our mailbox father that just throwing money at the child support or picking them up for the IG photos and taking them back. I'm not talking to y'all today. We appreciate y'all, you know, but I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking to my fathers that's hunkered down with their kids on a day like today. Probably either at dinner, leaving dinner, you know, to open a few gifts. You know, for those that's tuned in, you know, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. We are on X, we are on IG, we are on Facebook, all of your socials, you know, so feel free to follow us on either one of them or all of them. You know, we definitely appreciate the feedback. Shout out to those that's been DMing me, giving me your feedback on different subjects, which we are about to go into a few of those that some of you have reached out to us about, have asked us our opinion on a few different things on the political scope, especially war. There's been a lot of war talk, so we definitely gonna touch on that. It's a conflict that everyone's been a little nervous about, you know, so we definitely gonna dig into that today with you.
You do me a favor, can you pull your mic just a little bit closer?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, that is that's better.
Try not to be too loud, but I'm glad
I feel
here. You got me so far though. We good?
Yes, we are copacetic, my friend. So yeah, like he did, he reminded everybody to drip on them buttons right there. So just know that we also we up for the smoke. So you know we be taking all comers when it comes to the comments. So go ahead and feel free. If you feel froggy, and we just might have some time today to switch and pivot from what we got listed in the show notes.
Understand me. I quote the great Styles P. We laugh at fires. We smokers. You understand me? So however you want to bring it, you can bring it. We're pretty educated on a lot of the things we speak on. We just try to speak on it from a fifth grade point of view so everybody can digest it and no one can get lost in the sauce. You understand me? You get where I'm coming from? Good.
So with that being said, our squad, let us know what's in your cup. So go ahead. Dame, go ahead, hit me with it. What you sip on this Father's Day? I know it's Fun Day Sunday, but if it's just plain old air, if you fasting, I don't know what you got going on over there.
Good old H2O. That's what I was on today. I had folks prepare me a nice breakfast today. I decided to wait on dinner because I wanted to speak to you guys a little bit. I actually had a dinner set up for me, 6:30 Eastern. I said, no, I gotta go speak with the Odd Squad. There's a few things that's on my heart that I gotta
Boom.
talk about. I talk about things on my heart. So we gonna fast a little bit, because I want to get into different things with you all that I know is deemed important. According to my DMs, you guys are screaming at me that this stuff is important. So I said, why not, do what the other folks are not doing. We gonna talk about it live on a Sunday.
All right.
Father.
So first thing that we got coming up, drip or drown. Right. So drip or drown, the Israel fallout. We dive deep in the international wave, shaking up the block. No sugarcoating, just raw, real talk. Right. So the world is about to drip. What's the world about to drown? Tap in as we break down the fallout and what it might mean to the streets and beyond. So let's go ahead and I'll cue up just a little something to give everybody context, and then we'll get into it.
And destruction mounting on both sides, and today's scheduled negotiations over Iran's nuclear program also a casualty. ABC's Marcus Moore joins us live from Bat Yam, Israel, with the very latest. Good morning, Marcus.
Janae, good morning to you. We are just south of Tel Aviv at the site where an Iranian missile landed on a residential building overnight, and you can see the damage. And also, crews have been urgently searching for 3 people who are said to be missing in that rubble. And Janae, we also learned overnight that several people died here, including children.
Overnight, Iran and Israel trading more fire, both nations carrying out fresh waves of deadly attacks. In Israel, videos circulating online capturing this massive strike in the coastal town of Bat Yam. At least 6 people killed, including 2 children, and more than 100 wounded, according to Israel's emergency services. Here you can see the aftermath. First responders rushing to the scene, desperately searching for survivors amid the rubble. 3 residents still missing. Iran's barrage of dozens of missiles and drones seen soaring over Jordan towards Israel.
Oh my God.
And flying over Jerusalem, with sirens blaring from the north down to Tel Aviv. Israel's air defense system, including the Iron Dome, intercepting some of the aerial assault, like this Iranian drone. But several missiles evading the system, hitting their targets. Medics saying at least 4 people were killed and 14 injured in a direct hit on the Arab-Israeli town of Tamra. Israel also intensifying its attacks. This massive fire raging at an Iranian oil depot after an Israeli strike, according to the Iranian Ministry of Oil. Images throughout Tehran capturing the area in flames. And these new satellite images showing the before and after of this Revolutionary Guard military facility hit by the Israeli assault. Israel claims it has killed at least 9 Iranian nuclear scientists since its surprise operation earlier this week. Iran saying at least 78 people have been killed. The death toll climbing on both sides with no immediate signs of peace.
It's wild, man. It's wild. And I feel like Israel and Iran, they've been into it going toe to toe. Not quite like this, but it's been pretty bad with skirmishes happening over there since I was in like kindergarten. And I'm old. So as long as we could look at Tel Aviv, if you had cable back then, you always heard about a conflict happening over there. And we already understand the situation with Palestine and Hamas and October 7th and all that different stuff that's been going on. If you guys are not familiar with any of that, I highly suggest, handy dandy Google. Please look into what happened on October 7th. It was horrible. Death toll was pretty high. Children, women. I mean, just, they not living by the same rules that other people do in other worlds. It's basically, hey, if you in a skirt, you an enemy. If you a baby, other enemy, you an enemy. It's kind of messed up over there. But right now, with this particular fallout, man, you just got 2 well-funded countries that's going toe-to-toe right now. Now, how does that affect us? As of today, we understand that Israel reached out to us. They were trying to pass legislation for them to take out Iran's supreme leader. Trump said no. He vetoed that. Why? Because he wants peace talks. Trump does not believe in war, even though people have shaped him into this evil dictator type king person that everyone's,
Oh, the No
protest.
Kings protest. Yeah.
They've shaped him into this king Nazi person. And this is not me saying, oh, I love Trump. Don't say none of that. It's just that I feel like we take our eye off the ball with a lot of the nonsense. And that's just me personally. We run out
What
of
do you
stuff.
mean by nonsense? Do you mean like extremes, like all the way left or all the way right extremes, or
I feel like the leftists tend to look for things to cry about that they're not really looking to do anything about other than let's march and talk about it. I'm tired of that. It's stuff that we really need to be paying attention to. It's kind of funny because it seemed like if it's not in the news and they're not talking about it, folks aren't walking and protesting about it. You know what I mean? It was Hamas at first. Everybody was about Hamas and extremists over, they were talking about that. Then it became about gas prices. Then it became about, now we're worried about, our illegal immigration that's happening right now and how they, ICE. Everyone's worried about that. And now they declaring him a king. As stuff gets solved, people run out of stuff to protest about, and they keep looking for problems. Now here we are with this big situation happening. It's conversation, but it's not as conversational as I would like it to be, because I feel like at this point in time, we kind of need to be preparing for what this fallout means to the U.S. I mean, it could
all right?
mean they
So let's break it down then. So when you
could,
say that, so when you talk about what war or potential war, even is basically destabilization, right?
right,
So when things get destabilized, when the house is on fire, you usually got to check on who's running in, why everybody running out. So we by running in, I'm talking about a market standpoint. So
right,
there are losers and there are winners in destabilization.
every time.
And so at this point, be a little bit more vigilant and not as emotional, because in business there's opportunity. Just like when people do essentially land grabs when it's stuff like this, because the land don't have nothing on it no more, right? So who's going to come in and develop what? uh what organizations are coming in to help? What philanthropic organizations are coming in to
Yeah,
save
yeah,
people
because
and
you're gonna
need
see
our
some weird
donations,
stuff.
etc.?
We always see weird things take place during these times, and it scratches your head because on the initial you never know the why behind it until almost a year or two later. You know what I mean? Like a whole war going on. Why
Say
are they
why
building
behind it, or did you say the lie behind it?
the
So
pick one? Pick one, because once you start asking questions, there a lot of the times you might get media guided answers that really has no real like attachment to the truth until we dig deeper. You know what I mean? It's a whole war going on, and you'll find out that somebody is over there building skyscrapers and mansions not far from the fallout. And you're like, what's going on? Then you find out that the land that done got bombed on then got purchased by a certain organization or a company. You're like, why would they buy that? Fast forward, now they control this amount of the oil, or there's a gold reserve that nobody knew was sitting there, and they digging into that. There's a lot of different things that happens during war. And for some strange reason, our country, at least Congress, we love war. It's a lot of us that really are pro-war. A lot of us don't even like the fact that Trump doesn't like war. And they'll
all
use
right,
this as
sound like you putting on the tinfoil hat now.
Emma.
Sound like you putting on the tinfoil kofi.
I mean, really, what I'm doing is I'm just opening up the conversation and the thought process behind it. I don't think we need to worry, but we do need to be prepared. So I would start looking at the gas prices again. I start looking at what happens at the grocery store, because folks will see war and then propaganda will start. We've seen it too many times. All of a sudden, because a bomb hit a certain area in Iran, you know, Deer Park costs $7 now. Just weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like why? For what? But people
Or
look for
like tariff charges that people are already charging, even though that
right,
yeah.
right. That don't have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Got
Shout
nothing to
out
do.
to
Some of the states,
Fabletics for that. I done seen that on the website. You know, when you buying something, it's a at as of now it's like a $3 tariff charge that they charging on their stuff.
but you're
Crazy.
stateside. A lot you got factory stateside. Why are we spending $3? Why?
Right. Tariff costs.
Yeah, it's dumb. A lot of it is stupid. But the bottom line is, as you were saying, that as far as the whole conversation about destabilization, um, look at our markets, see what's affected. Start paying attention to some of those things. You know, look at some companies that's based over in their area. See how they're operating right now. You know,
Or see what organizations stand to gain. So, you know, the market is a forward-looking mechanism. So that's what that is the stock market is. A
right?
forward-looking mechanism. So in the next 2 quarters, who stands to win off of something like this? It may
Right.
be, I mean, some people profit off of this and it'll be an easy win. You could also check on some of your senators and see what their
Yeah.
portfolios then already
See
switched
what
over.
they buying. And you know something else, you for my eyes squatters, we may start. I'm not gonna tell you guys how to invest your money, but we may actually start giving you guys some stock updates on some things that we may feel that have been somewhat affected by the things that's happening in the world. We kind of want you guys to start looking at everything. We're more so pushing you all towards education.
Being
I don't want you
informed.
guys to sit here and say, "Oh, I got it from playing Dame. I got it from my man Paycheck." You're
But
not
these
gonna
just
say,
the conversations that we have, you know, on the high tip while we off camera. So these are the
yeah,
same things that us and our friends are talking about.
right.
You know,
I'm
contrary
not
to
gonna tell you
popular
to buy
belief, we don't be
XRP.
talking about who rapping, who doing
That comes up,
who
but
doing what.
that's
Yeah,
not
that
the
come
main
up too because that's part of the culture. But the real
we
stuff
40
is
plus over this way. So we talk about a lot of different things because that race to 50 is very interesting right now. So the
exactly.
conversation changes once you get mid 30s into your 40s. This stuff starts becoming more interesting. I remember it was a time when me and the producer, all we thought about was music and some money and a nice car. That really changed once people got a hold of that stuff. Now the world is looking very, very different. So this
Right.
Iran Israel fallout, it definitely got our attention. It's definitely making some waves on the international level. Um, do I think Trump is moving the right way with this as far as trying to seek some sort of peace treaty between them two and bring them both to the table? The way they're bombing each other, and I'm talking about right now as we're live, they're still going at it.
It's
They're
going
still
in.
they
They
trying
going
they,
in.
they going in. They trying to get rid of that Iron Dome. They doing whatever they got to do to cut through. They even got guided missiles. That's why they say, hey, Israel is like, hey, Trump, we know where he is. We know where the supreme leader is. We already know where we can aim these missiles. And he's like, no, don't do that. Please don't play with me because you're going to get us involved. And nobody's going to want that to happen. We got bigger missiles and a lot more guns. That's how Trump is talking. He said, hey, you don't want me involved because we coming through. It's going to be, listen, y'all got to keep throwing missiles. I got 3 that'll just destroy everything and just cut all of this conversation short. So let's be smart about how we move if y'all want me at the table. So he's coming through. People might say he's a little aggressive, but hey, sometimes we need that
No,
because these,
you have to stand at a certain posture to let everybody
yeah,
know how serious you are because
yeah,
war
do that,
is serious. So there,
right,
this ain't Sims, right? That old
no,
game back in the day. People's real lives are at stake, and
right,
whole generations get changed.
and personally, if those hard boiled conversations would have took place 4 or 5 years ago, we might not even have arrived at where we are now. Problem is that they found weakness in how we were moving previously, and I'm not about to get into bashing previous presidents and vice presidents and none of that. But it's obvious that they didn't respect whatever we had to say because we would go over there would be talks. Kamala would say something, Biden would say something, a few people would get in and talk, and then people would still do what they want to do. So they're still on that wave. So Trump got he got a job that he definitely got to tackle. So
All right, so
posturing and showing them, hey,
so one
mind
last piece to it when we talk about what's affecting us, and then we'll ask the community a few questions, right? So
right.
the first part is what happens in our lifetime, right? So what was the big war that was going on, right? During the like the Daddy Bush
Gulf War.
situation. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
had the
the Gulf
Gulf
War.
War, you
The Gulf
had
War, which my brother fought in, I might add, my oldest brother. He was in the Gulf War. We was worried like hell. I was at that time, what? It's about 10, 11, 12 at the time, Gulf War. That was like 92. You know what I mean? Like around that time. So he was off over there. We was worried. You know, he was writing letters. It was scary. A lot of stuff took place over there. But it was a war that was kind of like a war that went nowhere. You know what I mean? Because it was like they was over there. We didn't know a lot of the guys that was over there at the time, they even understand we were fighting for. I feel like now the conversation is a lot more open. People are a lot more educated about some of the things that we do fight for beyond, a headline. But we had the Gulf War. And then, of course, right after 9/11, we were right back over there, basically fighting the same war. But that particular war was more so like, hey, we going to get these particular people. It went
yeah
from
insurgents.
the insurgents. Even the way they said it, it made you feel like it was like talking to, like if you was a blood and you heard somebody say the Crips, you just was like, and okay, let's ride. That's how they was treated. It. I'm like, an insurgent could have been a 14-year-old boy with an AK, which is being misguided. And watching the news at that time, that was at a time we believed everything the news told us. Like we didn't question anything. You sat next to your grandmother and your older uncle and whomever, and they was like, yeah, get them damn insurgents. And we were like, what's an insurgent? I don't know. But they told us they was bad. So get them bastards. And we were like, okay, get the insurgents. Now it's like, what does that look like? Now we want to know what does that mean exactly when they put these
Who? How much does it cost? Why?
right. How
What are
many
we
people?
gaining? What are we losing?
Exactly.
What's the return?
Yeah, because we didn't care.
Is this partnership fruitful?
Right.
That's
What happens to the gas?
exactly.
Who are we funding at the end of the war when we get all of whomever? Who's going to maintain whatever we just fixed? Whatever we bomb, are we paying to rebuild that?
Oh
Because
yeah, that's how that always go.
yeah, so these are a lot of the things that none of us thought about coming up. You know what I mean? And then 9/11 just desensitized us even further. Before with the Gulf War, we were just like, I had I had a brother. If I could up them letters and show you guys, I mean, he talking to me about volleyball. They playing volleyball in the desert, and they drinking beer, and then SDNO, they in tanks shooting stuff, getting bombed up, weird stuff. So we've been through two major wars that I know of, and then after that, it's just been skirmishes. So we haven't, it's like people been thirsty for more war. They want another big one, and they definitely leaning on this.
So in this Father's Day, go ahead and ask community, your few questions when it come to this, so that we can post that for them and have them, either talking polls or whatnot. Believe it or not, the conversation continues after we get done with these episodes. We got 100 and some episodes. I know we just starting out and everything, but we beasting on content. Not even the shorts that we got where we clip it up for y'all to digest to come back in when we come live. But
and also you guys will see a lot of these conversations we've touched on quite a few times because it's continuing. It hasn't stopped. So I would say my biggest question to you all is, what does war mean to you? That's a very open-ended question. What does war mean to you? And you can give me whatever that entails. You can break down the benefits of a war. You can break down the reason why war is bad. Give me all that information, because I definitely want to that we're going to be diving into this a lot more. Another one is, do you think that the US should be more involved in this particular war? I ask that because in the past, it's no secret, we US have never been scared to run up in Iran We ain't never been scared to go over to Israel and talk to folks and get it popping. We just not. We're not afraid to get involved in war. We're trying to stop that. But do you all believe that this might quiet down and end quicker if we got more involved? So that's my main two questions when it comes to this situation.
Or do we believe that, is it going to escalate to the point where everybody, is talking about the worst, right? Which is the whole World War III situation that people trying to bring into the fold. Do
Yeah.
you think that is an actual piece? And so then that gets us into, our next thing when we talk about the art of being patient, having wisdom. It's called stoicism, right? The act of taking things, looking at them for what they are, and having discernment. I know I'm pulling out a couple college words or whatever, but my man, he gonna break it down to
I'm
what we really talking about, and then we'll transition.
Okay. Well, just in that, I'm gonna break it down in the hood sense, if you will. Basically, a lot of us practice stoicism even in partnerships, even in our household. You ever have a female that was yelling to the top of her lungs and you just stared at her just, okay, so that's what we arguing about.
Right. Is that what we are?
That's what we on right now.
Yeah.
Look here, Mahalia Jackson. You keep hitting them high notes all you want, but let's get to the bottom line of why you are where you are right now. Let's talk about it. That's stoicism in motion. A lot of us practice it. It's not to put anybody's business out, but I got a call today from a good homie of mine that takes really good care of his children. He hit me with something that was interesting because this is a guy that's always with his child. Like he spends he's not with the mom, but he's always with the child. I'm talking about he has quite a few children, but he spends a lot of time with this particular child. And female said, you don't take care of your child. You don't spend enough time with your child and you don't take care of that child.
So he ain't supposed to work then, or
no?
He
just hit her with the okay.
There you go.
You detail to me what that looks like in your mind. What does it look like that I need to do more of?
Boomerang coming.
The conversation got real quiet.
Right, the boomerang coming.
Yeah,
no one coming back.
Then boom. That's not for me to tell you. You should know what to do in that situation. He like, but I don't feel that I don't spend time with my child. In fact, my other children say, hey, you always with my sibling all the time. Because a lot of them are older. This particular child is younger. So naturally,
you learn from those mistakes. Plus, when you get a little bit older, you got more resources to work with, and younger dad versus older dad type deal.
Yeah, but deeper than that, his kids aren't tripping. They're just like, man, you always. I saw the pictures you posted. You always with such and such. Not in a mean way, not in a jealous way. Just that's cool. I see y'all had a good time because he spends time with all of his children. But this particular child, he has a lot. The mother don't live too far. It's not a big problem, but she hit him with that. So he laughed because I said, well, I think she's upset because you don't pick her up along with the child and go on these adventures y'all be on. She might feel left out. She might feel a little jealous. Yeah, he couldn't do nothing but laugh. But I was proud of him because in past situations, he might have flipped. And you got me and met her where she was. But in this lesson of stoicism, it's always better to sit back and assess, get quiet, and just sometimes you might want to let a person just go off the deep end. You don't got to go off the deep end with them. You can just grab them by the arm before they jump fully off and say, hey, is this what we about to be on right now?
Is this where we at?
Do this make sense?
Is really what you want?
Go there, do this. I know it makes sense to you, but in the grand scheme of things, does this make sense?
Then you already know who you dealing with. You're dealing with somebody who just don't give a damn at that point. Like they willing to let it burn when you give them that moment.
Exactly.
It's when the Boondocks they call it an N-word moment.
And as a man, we have to be stoic because guess what?
Everything's on the line.
They're not gonna be stoic with us. They gonna show up and show out just like she just did, especially if they got the word. If you did this, wait a minute. Even if you ain't touched somebody. And shout out to my homie that I talked to yesterday, who was telling me a situation about picking up his child, and a woman spit in his face.
Wow.
Not to put his business out. My man politely rolled up his window, pulled his car back in front of the neighbor's yard, and called the police.
There you go, because that's assault.
And they was on his side. And he said this police woman that showed up was fine. I said, did you knock her?
I said, did you knock her?
Did you get her? Because she said, oh, I see what's going on. You're the calm one. I'm going to talk to you. Fellas, learn for some of this stuff I'm telling you, because stoicism will keep you from the prison system. Stoicism will keep you from the prison system.
Bars.
That's it.
Nobody. Take care of myself. I caught flack one time. I was on this young lady's podcast and she said, do you express your emotion to your woman? I said, no. Why would I do that? No, and they tried to kill me, but I don't. And the reason why, because as a man, you are to protect, provide, and love. And women are emotionally caring. So if I'm telling her I have a bad day, now it's two people with bad days. I don't tell my woman I'm having a bad day. How's your day? I'm good, baby. I got to take care of it. Because if you put stress on her, she's going to put it right back on you. Because it's our job to protect, provide, and love. But people, oh, you there? No, I don't do that. I take care of everything, and that's just how it's going to be. And you know why I'm like that? Because it's worked for me. So I'm not going to meet somebody now and be like, oh, no, I'm not doing that.
Who takes care of Shaquille?
Now, that last question that homeboy asked right before it cut off. Who takes care of Shaquille O'Neal? Right? Now, the sad reality of that is he probably takes care of him. He has to.
That's it.
Very rich. You know, and I'm gonna be and as a man, and we could, you know, we are tough, we are strong. We done been in fights, some of us have been in gun battles and survived knife stabbings and all types of stuff. Some of us have been in the prison system. We've been through a lot, right? And because of that, it's conditioned us to be that way, to where we don't have that female that we can lay our burdens on, right? Honestly, I'm gonna be 100 with everybody. Me and you have talked about this, producer, outside of this. You know who plain dang used to lay his burdens on the most? My mama. Because that's the only one I believe that gave a damn. Not to the point where I'm like, mama, help me, but just right. Mama, I just need that ear. My mama was my best friend. She listened to me. Like, you know, she would listen. She would give her wisdom because she was much older. Nothing to gain from her son versus me laying down my burdens upon a woman after a long day or whatever, dealing with the world. What I've found, and this has been, you know, this has nothing to do with me having a high IQ or being anything, but what I've learned is that a lot of women will use those weaknesses against you in later arguments down the line if you're not 100% invested in your peace. I'll say this again. They will use those weaknesses down the line in other arguments when they are not 100% invested in your peace. Some women don't want to see you peace, but some women come from, you know, terrible backgrounds where all they saw was violence and arguing and yelling and cussing and fussing, right? So they're not used to somebody that's very stoic, that's chill, that's laid back, that's not super reactive.
It actually makes a lot of different people uneasy when they don't see someone, you know, with a high emotion, because they don't know where you're coming from. They don't know what you're thinking. They're only knowing what you're giving or what you're saying or what you're providing as far as the form of action, but they don't know what you're thinking. People know exactly what you're thinking when they know how you're feeling.
Yeah. And to be totally 100 with you, the only other person I can lay my burdens on is my wife. She was my best friend. She knew everything about me to an extent. I've always got along very well with women, and of course the producer here, one of my best friends as well. And even us, we talk about stuff, but it'd be more of a, Yeah, man, I hear what you're saying. Now put a couple of more barbells on that rack and lift that shit up off your chest and get back out there and get back to
And
it.
do it. Get to
And
work.
because there ain't nothing that's sitting here telling me about it ain't gonna solve it. So I've always been a very let's get it done, let's figure it out and get it done type person. I don't like stewing in problems. So, and then on top of that too, the thing with me is it's not even so much as emotion. I find everything funny. Why? Because as another term that we say a lot off the cameras is y'all having these first world problems and we can give a damn.
Exactly.
You have a first world problem. You're having problems because you're in the luxury of a situation that maybe monetarily I've created or together we've created to where the issues that you're having are so quick to be fixed. Why are we talking about this
As if it's big, yeah.
in a long, like, why are we even on this for this long? If
Like
your
this
problem,
was a 45-second conversation that we done turned into going in circles for an hour and a half, 2 hours. It went from dusk to night.
and now I don't care because I'm not giving you the energy. That's what ends up happening. Like if your problem basically what you're telling me is you just need to go and tell that bitch at work that you not feeling how she's handling business on that end and tell her I need you to get it together or whatever and keep it moving. I should not hear about this same problem from January and May. That means you didn't talk to somebody about it. You didn't
You
fix it.
got a arch nemesis at work or something like that.
Right, right.
She's
Because
trying to destroy me.
she pissing me off. She know I wanted that particular coffee cup in the Keurig. She took the last one. Really? Look, I'm about to look. Check your cash out. Buy some damn coffee before you get to work. That ain't now she can't destroy you at the Keurig machine.
But it ain't about the coffee. What
Yeah,
what is it
it's
about?
bigger than that. It's deeper than that. How deep is it? Did it affect your paycheck, sweetie? Because that's that might be a man thing too. That might be a real distinct man thing because as men, a lot of the times I'm having conversations, I might say something like, "Man, that pissed me off," but it didn't affect my paycheck, so I wasn't on it that hard, bro.
You want to know what it is? Because with men having conversations that can so quickly escalate into death, like everybody has to have an even kind of mindset. Because whether you the little dude or you think that you still the big bully, everybody can go at this
Everybody.
point. Right. So that is the reason why cooler heads usually prevail unless it's like a bunch of young cats involved because everybody think they invincible and they ain't
Hey,
seen nothing yet. You
and
know what I'm
I'm gonna say
saying?
this, and I work in a very interesting situation. I work for a 45 company, whatever, all that good stuff. But it changes perspective on people when I have one-on-ones with people and they say, "Hey man, why you so cool and calm and you just always energized?" And I have to give them the real world perspective on why I'm like that. Not to tell them, listen, I've been on the business end of a pistol several times in my youth. You think I'm worried about what it's I'm actually getting
Right.
paid to deal with
Somebody's words. I'm
you think
supposed to be
somebody said something to me and I've been on the business end of a pistol. I've 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 been in a house that was being robbed while we was in the house. I'm hearing lay down, get down. You think I care about what this person got to say? This is not going to affect me in the least. This don't even stir the PTSD in me. Not even a little bit. Like, I mean, you've been through a lot of the stuff that I've been through and survived what I've survived. You smile at some of the problems you're faced with. So that's the thing. I think we become stoic because we've had real problems. Some of us, we've had real problems, not first world issues. we've had to come home and, turn the oven, make sure the oven door is open and on so we can have the heat because they came and swiped the heat off in the middle of winter. We arguing with them. Hey, isn't it illegal to cut the heat off when it's below temperatures outside?
That's only the 1st through the 30th. It's the
31st.
31st.
30th, sir. This is the 31st, and you 2 months behind. We had that problem in decades, right? So why am I worried about Tiffany pissing you off because she was whispering something while you was cooking the fries and she was making the milkshakes, and it ruined your day? What? What did she say? She didn't like your shoes. Baby, I'm gonna go get you some new Reeboks. We is not tripping.
Speaking of Reeboks, shout out to Shaq, who's the president, and Iverson, who's the vice president. They trying to bring back. Yeah, I like how you tied that in there. I like how you tied that in there. So let's go ahead and hit the community drip with your questions that you usually have, so that they can answer in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Put it in the comments.
So I'm gonna say this because I know I know I'm coming at it from a very strong male point of view on this, and I understand our women. They sometimes really just want to be heard rather. But my question to you all is, and this to my men, because it's Father's Day. What the hell? I could talk to y'all. Women, y'all could chime in on this too. I'm not tripping, but because some of y'all got men that behave like women. They want to come home and rant. David, wore the same tie as me and all this kind of shit. Stuff that I wouldn't know nothing about. I know y'all send me some interesting stuff. But my question to you is this. As a man or a woman in certain instances, how far do you think you're gonna get expressing your feelings all the time? Some women feel like if I don't tell you how I feel, we're not gonna get anywhere. We're not gonna grow. Some people feel like if I'm always yapping about how I feel, then we're going to be stuck running in place and moving off feelings instead of common sense. So give me whatever answer, how you feel on that. There is no right or wrong answer to that. I just know how I approach things. So how far do you think you'll get with expressing your feelings, or better yet, just expressing yourself in general? All right. It's one question. Next question is, how do you approach problems? I'm asking this because what your answer can be to that question might help somebody. It might help another one of our members of the I Squad or one of our day drippers. How do you approach problems? Do you approach problems thinking about solutions first, or do you overly examine the problem? Do you highlight the problem first before you go into solutions? Which way do you approach it? To me, there is a right answer to that, but
yeah, we'll leave it open for them to put their stuff in.
We don't ask, we don't judge.
So we're gonna go into some of the things that we talk about, or we always hope to have, either as prospective fathers or as fathers. So proud dad moments, right? From little league to life lessons, we celebrate those proud dad moments that hit different. Whether it's the kid's first win or a family milestone, this is where we shout out fathers to keep that drip strong and their families stronger. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on up so we can look at this, have a proud dad moment real quick and get it popping. Let me go ahead and move this banner though. My bad. Dad's got that drip.
Car when his dad surprised him by getting him his dream car and had it waiting for him in the parking lot.
Don't ever think I ain't got you, bro. You've been a blessing to me and mama all your life, and I'm gonna go all out for you. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's yours.
He was in tears, showing how grateful he was as his dad was telling him this is what happens when your hard work pays off.
Believe God always and know who your mom and dad. Man, we got you. Look at that. Look at that. That's yours.
After his high school graduation ceremony, they were walking back to the car when his dad.
That's people who have, who blessed enough to have first world problems. I'm pretty sure that relationship with the mama was, had been rocky at some point, and they worked through it. That's what you do, because if you blessed in that regard, then you get to keep going, keep moving, because your children see that. Your children got to be able to see how you work through problems in a relationship. You can't always bounce out, be out, or do what you got to do. You got to be able to work through these things in order to manage, right? You manage in your life, you manage the family same way. So that's how that ties in with the stoicism. I think is part of that, being that rock.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, my G?
I was happy to see that clip, man, because we see what I hate about social media is that we see so many clips these days of young ladies getting cars and instantly getting an attitude because it's not the car that they wanted. I'm seeing that a lot. The young man was ecstatic. That's one thing. That's the first thing, right? Second thing is what you just mentioned. It's always great to see co-parenting working to the benefit of the child, because the child did not ask to be here, so you want to create those moments and those thoughts within that child, because you never know how your kid is looking at you. My child today, like I said, she wrote a song. She wrote, recorded, mixed and mastered, made a beat and everything for me. She's been doing this for years. She always make music for me every Father's Day. But the stuff that she said in the song, I got choked up. I'm like, she really pays attention to what's going on. She pays attention. She sees what her dad is doing, right? And that goes into how I treat her mom, how I am with other people, how I handle my business to what she sees. She's very thankful. She's not the gimme girl. My oldest child, I'm not gonna say she's a gimme girl, but it was a point in time where she was more so like, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this. And then one day,
Daddy, I need $500.
Yeah. Then one day, she said, I'm gonna come here, let's go eat. And reflex, I go in my pocket. She said, no, you always pay, Dad. I'm like, yeah. And I'm
right. What else is it gonna be?
still trying to pay. She like, it's paid for already. When I went to the bathroom,
that was gonna be the only way it was gonna get off. I already know.
I knew you was gone. And I'm like, and I'm mad. I'm really genuinely mad. Like, don't be doing that. I'm your father. Don't. She said, no, I got to pay it forward. You always pay. You always take care of us. You've given to me when I didn't have it. Her younger siblings didn't see a lot of the days that me and her mom had when it was, I'm not going to say it was super duper struggle fest, but we all had our struggles. But her younger siblings, of course, got it better because they came along at times when,
older, wiser, more resources to go around. That's how life works.
From, what I mean? Now it's like that, cereal gone. Okay, it'll be here in 10 minutes. We just put the order in. Oldest child is like, man, I ain't had it. She gets to explain to them why they need to be even more thankful. And that's always a good thing when they just to be appreciated. So and also they didn't see Dad crying about bills. They didn't see Dad crying, that stoicism was real on this side. Because I'm always laughing. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, we owe that much? Damn. What was we doing? Go ahead and we're gonna have to pay that. Pills, of course. Dad got a speed ticket off.
Right. That's gonna take a chunk, boy.
Oh,
but you can't get no boot on that car though, because you need that car.
Oh man. Let me go ahead. I could go to court and fight this, but if I go to court and fight this, I'm going to lose money at work trying to save money over here. So I got to just pay this. And I'm blessed enough to be able to just pay it and just keep it pushing. You know what I mean? So that's, that video, you could tell he was very proud father. the son was like he told him, you never gave me any problems. You know, you did what I asked you to do. And that's all a parent can ask for, at least in this day and age. You know, in the YN era and all that trash, which to me is very derogatory. I don't see YNs. I see young men that might be a little misguided, that didn't have a strong father figure or an OG. And I don't mean the OG that's telling them to do the wrong things. I'm talking about the OG that was always like, look, this is how you move. This is what you need to do. Because our older guys were more polished. I'm not afraid to say they were more polished. They did what they did, but they always was like, yeah, you know, I see it in you that you're going to be something. You know, they poured into you, you know, so that's it, man. I mean, I love that video. I need to see more of those. Even it don't have to always be a car either. You know what I mean? It could be son might have wanted some shoes that dad couldn't get him right away. And he did what he needed to do, and dad made sure he got the shoes that he wanted. It don't always have to be material, but sometimes it be those little material things that keep a lot of us pushing, because a lot of us put value in things. At least as a kid, you definitely put value in things because you're surrounded by a bunch of people that all they care about are things, you know? So,
Well, all you see is the fruit of those things. You know, you ain't going to work with them every day. You just see what comes back to the house, right? So that's where you gotta take your child to work. You gotta teach them when you give them something. You give them a toy, whether it's $5, $50, $500. Daddy, mommy, we go to work for what you have. So just understand whether it's a lot to you or a little bit. I always say to practice that so that people know the value not of what that thing is, but the time that you put in order for them to get whatever that is. And you know, if I ever had kids, then I would just tell them that, you know, this toy that you got, you could either buy this toy or you can own the toy company, because I'm into delayed gratification. So instead of getting this toy, how about we spend that money that you was gonna get on that toy and we put it into a brokerage account for you, so that this $25, by the time you get to be, you know, if you 5 or something like that, by the time you get to be 18, that $25 and turn into $2,500, for example. Just saying. A little something to think about.
Yeah. These kids don't give a damn about that. But once you teach them, though, they'll start seeing it. You show them that account, like, look, remember this $5 you was asking me for? Look, it's 15 now. Really? Right. Yeah. Let's keep a watch. Let's see where that's gonna go. That becomes excitement there too. You see how much money you made today? You want to see how much money you made this year? You know, little stuff like that. If the affordability is there. But I do believe in pouring that type of care, instilling that in children is important as well. They gotta care about their finances, man, because you don't want them out here, you know, chasing a rainbow of things that just lead them to, you know, living behind a damn 8-ball, trying to impress a bunch of other broke people.
Yeah,
I'm so glad
I do
that.
It ain't nothing but a bunch of people with dingy shoes and a bunch of Gucci belts. So what you gonna do with that?
That's it. With they
y'all
shirt
looking at each other, right?
Y'all all in the club, same club, doing this. He
Thirsty
had that on last time.
Thirsty than a mug.
Meanwhile, if you like me, you was dancing with the girls and you didn't care less about what a guy had on. Like your friends were like, "Yeah, man, we the best dressed ones in here." I don't care about that. I'm looking for the best dressed women.
Right. I ain't come here for them.
You come here for them.
I came
to
here
have a good time.
For that and some gentleman jack, something like that.
And hopefully the DJ is good. Good DJ.
Right.
I don't know, y'all. But more or less,
drip. Yeah.
That's where I'm at, man. So that my only question there is, hey, do y'all I'm gonna ask y'all this, because a lot of people may not even agree with what he did. Do you guys think that because a kid graduated from school, you supposed to buy him a car? You know, is there a big gift needed? Or do you feel like graduation is really their introduction into the game and you don't really need nothing for that other than, hey, I got some cash that we can either put towards college, we can put towards the business. Which one?
Yeah, you got that. That'll set people up for success too. I'll tell you a successful story. Neighborhood girl that we know. She recently graduated. She was number one in her class. Right, her family. You know, they not from a bunch of means or nothing like that. They got a couple of used cars that they got. Grandmama gave her car for graduation. So that hits home in that regard. Why did she give her car? Because the young lady saved them more than $300,000 because that's the amount of money in scholarships that she got. Because she going to school full ride with the extras at that point. You get what I'm saying? So her account is on full when she goes to school and don't nobody got to worry about nothing. Yeah, take this car because I was gonna have to use that Parent Plus loan and them was it the all them other loans that I was gonna have to sign off on. Nah,
Yeah.
if you don't take this damn car and get on out of here and just be safe because we're proud of you. Like you done did it before you even got to go do it for real.
Right.
That's all that we asked for.
And the car paid off. You ain't got to know.
There you go. Put some
Kick it.
gas in it. Yeah, exactly.
Gas up and get gone.
Just know that you're gonna use some of that scholarship money to fix that mug if you're gonna be on the road like that. So don't do that. Go there, go to school for what you go to school. Because so many people they go there and they fail out too. Right.
Yeah.
So the partying is real and all that. It's a life lesson in life. If you go there to go do what you got to do, or sometimes you just don't make it. It's other reasons why some people don't make it too. But sometimes you go in there and you get those D's instead of those degrees, and that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. I know,
All right.
because I used to visit a lot of them. Show me a good time to visit a lot of them. I visit some successful students too that's doing their thing right now. But back in the day, I used to visit a lot of people that were just there. You know what I mean? So
Right. And you can't just be there. When you there, you just got to be present. And that's where anywhere you go, whether you at the job, whether you at school. Not look at us giving this Father's Day drip to everybody. Whether you at the job or at school, whatever you're doing, give it your all. Like if watch David Goggins, something like that. You know, like
right.
yeah. If
He's
you don't
so
know who
funny.
David Goggins is, just the ultimate extreme. That's what you
Right.
gonna do.
And speaking of him, man, I was trying to work out with him. He's here right now. I actually was trying to see if he wanted to get a workout in with us. He's been running around the city.
Oh, for real? Cool.
Yes, it's some event coming up that he's a part of here. But he was looking from what I was hearing, he was looking for somebody to work out with. And folks were suggesting that he come,
Yeah. Cause
No.
you be in your thing. So let's go ahead and switch sauce on them. Dad bod to glow up. So this is one thing that's not new, but true to our hearts as young men in society. We taking care of a lot of other things, but we be forgetting a lot of times to take care of ourselves. I'm glad that plain underscore Dane actually chronicles his challenges for himself, and then he inspires others to do that. So I just wanted to give you your flowers on this Father's Day for what you do and what you be showing. Passing, I ain't gonna blow up your Instagram or nothing like that. I know you be having it in your stories and all that, but I just wanted to put in an example of some of the stuff that you can talk about for yourself.
Definitely, and that's the thing. So, basically, I will say, when I retired from education 2015, right? So, got some retirement money, sat at home, barbecued, sipped some wine, enjoyed my wife, had great times at my house, decorated my house. I did a bunch of things that had me sitting on my butt, living a sedentary lifestyle for several years. And you already know where I'm going when I say that. So I end up picking up some weight. I'm not the smallest guy now, but I will say at my peak, I was 324 pounds, right? A lot of people like, you didn't look like it. Well, I still did a little something, but I still wasn't eating right. So I had to hit that kitchen, kind of tighten up. I think around that time I really started playing with being vegan. I'm pescatarian now, so I do still do my fish now. But I went hard about a solid 5 or 6 years vegan. My wife is still vegan to this day. Um, but the main thing was really wasn't about like I wanted to lose weight, which I did indeed lose. I lost quite a bit of weight, but I wanted to be functional as a dad. I have kids that's very active. You know, I wanted to be able to run around with my kids. That was me in my 30s, going into my 40s. And as dads, we just want to be functional, man. Like we got kids getting older, kids is gonna be getting married. You don't want to be the tired dad limping down the aisle trying to give your daughter away, and you want to do the first dance with your daughter. And once we get into our late 40s and 50s, that's when we make the most money for those that are active in some sort of career field, and you finally figure it out or whatever business you in. That's when you make the most money. So that means that you're going to get older, you're going to have a lot more money. You want to be able to island hop. You want to be able to have a good time kicking and not be tired. You don't want to be going to sleep at 6 in the evening because you're just tired, because your body is just so worn, because you're so bloated. And so getting your body together, really get your mind together first. Then your body's gonna follow your mind every trip.
Yeah,
So,
you got to find something that's just gonna make you decide
right.
whether your why is your kids, as a father, or your why is just you. Because sometimes you got to be that selfish when it comes to that. Because if you don't take care of you, how the hell you gonna take care of somebody else? So,
and you want to impact your friend group, because as you get older, you got your friends getting older with you. That group that you used to run the full with at the open parks playing basketball with, it was 10 of y'all at first. That 10 dropped down to 6 at some point. That 6 turned into a half court.
right, we went from
people
a
playing.
full court to 3-on-3.
3-on-3. And then that
We're playing
3-on-3 just turned
33.
into 33. And now we ain't even playing 33. It's just
21 for those who play on the East Coast and all that.
Yeah. You playing putouts and all of that because you want to hurry up and get the game over with. Then it turns into, yeah, man, let's just meet up and shoot
around.
So we just shooting around. The producer know what I'm talking about, but me and him is different. We end up shooting, but we're in fairly decent shape for our age. And so we might end up well-dressed, new polo shirt, whatever. We can afford whatever. And now we hooping. Why are we hooping so hard? Why am I sweating? And we got dinner reservations we about to hit and go.
Because we out here now. It's too late.
We out here now. It's too late. And that's how it's supposed to be when you feel good and you healthy. You want to be able to see some young guys out there. No, you ain't about to be running and trying to cross them up and do layups, but you want to cross somebody up and do that fadeaway on their ass.
Show them that you still got something in you. Try
you
back.
Can still run backwards down the court watching them, and you still get on defense. You want to be able to still do that as you get older, man. Even if you're not, or if you're not even that person. Maybe you a golf person. You want to be able to play 9 holes and not be tired. No, I ain't got to get in the car. The ball ain't that far, bro. I can jog to the ball. We solid. You know what I mean? Like or the driving range, whatever it is that you do, you just want to be active. Or some of us done got older and we got younger wives. Some of our wives are 10 years younger than us. And they when you got them, you was in prime shape. Years done went by, the drive, the testosterone is dropping, all of that.
Testosterone dropping, the food got you with ED,
yeah,
and all of that kind of stuff.
All of that. Now you popping gas station pills, trying to keep up with that young thing.
No, rhino butterfly, whatever. I don't.
Damn, how many honey packs you gonna take, Jack? How many? Now you need 2. The one don't do it no more. So
all right,
that's why
from dad bod the drip god transformation stories. Forget the stereotypes. This is where the glow up gets real.
Yes,
we spotlight everyday kings turning dad bod into drip bod, sharing self-improvement journeys like we just did, and just telling you that it's never too late to level up and flex that new kind of confidence. So without further ado, we just gonna bring this in as an example. I like that. I like how he was gonna do that swing at the end because that's where that confidence come in. That's
Yeah.
when you got that daughter that's trying to date something like that, and then that
Yeah.
young boy think he gonna come into the spizot and oh yeah, I meet your daddy, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
They come in and you like that. Like what? Like, hold on.
Where y'all going?
You do some. How many push-ups can you do?
Yeah. If
How
you can
many
do
I
more
did
push
today? Or I did 250. I
yeah,
got 250 more to do tonight. I'm 500 a day with this for 4 days straight. Where you at with it? Because you got to be able to protect her. She's under my cloth. She's up under the wingspan. So something go wrong, even if you the cause, it could get handled. I need to know she's safe with you though. For my fathers out there, I've never been the intimidating father, but we can have those conversations. And it's been me and a young man or two that we didn't have some real conversations, and they like, yo, it's either sink or swim after those conversations because I might ask too many real questions. I've had a guy date my daughter. He wanted to be my friend after that. He's texting me after she's like that. Don't talk to him. I'm like, but
we need
guidance
guidance.
for advice.
Right.
He's asking me for advice now. I can't tell this young man no.
Right.
His father's not in his life, and he lost.
Right.
That young man in law school now. I'm like, you might have
See, there you go. There you go.
It's like
Such
that.
is life. Yeah.
It's like that. But yeah, man, I may start showing you guys, I don't know. Depends on how comfortable I get with our eyes squad, but I got a few challenges. I actually had to take a challenge off because I was doing a jump rope challenge. With my jump ropes, I was doing 200. I was chronicling as well on IG. Some of you all follow me already hip, but I was doing 250 jumps a day. I was going to do that for 30 days, but unfortunately, my Achilles tendonitis flared up and my knee swelled up. When you get older, these things happen, but that's not going to stop me from getting in the gym and replacing that challenge with another challenge. So now I got a challenge. I got a Stairmaster challenge.
Okay, so you just gonna go from messing up your Achilles to putting your same Achilles on the stairs. All right, that's
because
how you heal yourself.
No. I'm taking some time off, of course.
Okay.
But I'm saying when I go back in, I got my push-ups because I
otherwise
did a
your next
challenge.
challenge is gonna be a wheelchair challenge if you know what I'm saying. The
this what me and him, y'all are witnessing our off-the-camera conversation.
Yeah, this is real.
This is what we do, bro. You going too hard, and I'm like, I ain't no bitch. What do you mean? What too hard? What are you talking about? I'm statue. I'm gonna always go hard, baby. So that's just what it is. I like challenging myself because the more I challenge myself, if I go hard on me, what the world gonna get?
Not what you can, not worse than what you can do for yourself. So I do appreciate that. Keep chronicling that on this Father's Day for everybody to see, so they can see these men out here that care, that love, that live. So we appreciate y'all on this Father's Day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate
community drip. I know that sounded like that was gonna be a good ending, but this ain't me on the show. I ain't the host. I'm just the producer. So we go ahead and let my mans give the community drip questions while we get ready to head on out because we probably went double what we thought we was gonna be doing.
We definitely did. I done got a few texts. They like when is dinner? Yeah, what's going on with the dinner? So yeah, so basically, I'm sorry, I get so comfortable with my peoples, we just keep spilling. But far as on the community drip side, on this Father's Day, hug your kids, man. Be thankful for everything, especially as a father, man. A lot of us didn't grow up with fathers, so we don't. There's no such thing as a perfect father. just a father that tries. If you're trying, you're the perfect father in my book. You know what I mean? And you're not accepting mediocrity as a dad. You know, and don't be afraid to have those hard conversations with your kids as well. We don't need no soft ass kids either. And what I mean by that is love hard, but also teach hard as well. Have those uncomfortable conversations with your kids. I want you all to have the conversation with your kid before the police have that conversation with your kid. Remove them from the YN conversation and move them into the
YMs. You know
the YMs, the YGs, young gentlemen. You know what I mean? Or whatever you want to give it. But have some great conversations. Enjoy the rest of this day. We are going to be right back here, dripping throughout this week. And of course, we're going to be going live on Friday. No question there. Shout out to my homie Nick. Shout out to everybody that tuned in with us on this one, as well as
Nick. We had Loudmouth the week before and we just highlight people that be in the chat, real heavy. Sometimes they be a little bit too heavy, but we just might have people cam up and come on through. That's probably what we'll end up doing.
That's the next go round, and I got quite a few people that want to come on. We're gonna be having some guests coming up over the next few months. If you guys have anybody that you think would be a good addition to come in and speak with us on certain lives, go ahead and shoot that info over to us. Highlight those people. We celebrate everybody over here at our Daily Drip Show. Especially if you're doing the work that's needed on these streets and in the social media platforms, giving the right wisdom and the right messaging. We're not gonna just highlight you because whatever. We definitely want you guys to be top of your game with everything.
Right. And even when Cass did she just brought the food to you, like forget it.
They like
we eating. We tried to wait. Put them hands together. Thank you. All right.
Right.
All right.
And as y'all can see, we keep it healthy around here. We keeping it healthy.
I look like some Brussels sprouts over there. He gonna be fired tonight, y'all.
Yeah, some Brussels sprouts, couscous, little carrots, string beans. All
right.
Drip by.
Just enough to go jump roping with. You know what I'm saying?
Peace, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in for another excellent episode, man. Let you guys get back on out there. Peace. See you next week.
Drip drops under neon sky, breaking it down with no disguise. Join the fam, the squad is lit. Late night truce with the West Coast hit. Scroll the feed while the city sleeps. Stories run deep, but we sow what we reap. Gems got the mic and Dames got the flow. Late night drip with the glow we throw. Drip drops under neon sky, breaking it down with no disguise. Join the fam, the squad is lit. Late night truce with the West Coast hit. Hot squads calling better sub right now.